Savell Laurie, aka, and I want to thank you all for listening to our weekly podcast, the You Going Pro podcast. We are the number one podcast in the world that helps athletes develop proficiency, assisting their passion for the game they love. Today's episode is episode 46. I have a very own guy that had been drafted by the Washington Nationals 18th round in the 2014 draft from Sprayberry High School in Marietta, Georgia. That's outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Also, his name is very own Mackenzie Valentine Mills. He has played for the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Marlins, a total of 14 years playing pro baseball. And I bring on a very own Mackenzie Mills. How you doing, Mackenzie?
Man, how we doing, man? How we doing?
That's good, man. I mean, you got a long resume. I just kind of shortened it up because I know, looking at everything you've done quite a few things. You've been around playing baseball. I want to start at the beginning. Let's talk about the beginning of your baseball career. Let's talk about you started
Uh,
high school. Let's talk
High school
about
ball.
that. High school
Okay.
baseball. The young guy. What was that like?
Young Mackenzie was I think the year. Let's go back to eighth grade. We go
All
back to
right,
eighth grade.
go
So,
ahead.
um,
That's cool. Let's do it.
I think I had transitioned out of playing. So besides baseball, I used to play a little bit of basketball. Right.
Okay.
Used to always be the tallest guy, right? And then I think once things got real, I said, man, I'm not as good as I really thought I was. So that I can go ahead and kill that basketball dream. It's not gonna happen.
In Georgia too,
Um,
right? In
in
Georgia.
Georgia too. So I think I grew a real interest in baseball when I had a buddy of mine at the time. We played on the same basketball team together, but his dad was heavy into playing baseball.
Okay.
So after every basketball game, our basketball practice, he'd be in the cage hitting off the little simple little pitch machine that we always have at the YMCA. And I'm just like, man, you do this a lot. He's like, yeah, man, like I said, my dad really likes baseball. I said, man, well, I play baseball too. You mind if I hit with you guys? So him and my dad became good friends, and me and his son would just hit. So I think, like you see now, right? You see a lot of kids they playing travel baseball, like ANU baseball, travel baseball, and like while they 8, 9 years old,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Eight young bucks. I'm like,
Young.
bro, like don't nobody care about you eight. Like I was like, man, I'm playing team, I'm playing rec ball. I'm like, man, like y'all going across the country to compete in the 9U tournament. No, that's not gonna happen. We not
Yeah.
gonna do all of that. I say doing what it matters. But I didn't really start playing real deal professional or high level travel baseball until maybe 13, 14 years old. So I had a love for the game, but I realized, okay, that love for the game was because I thought I was good at my current skill level. See, I'm the type of person where, like, hey, if I'm going to really do something and I'm going to dedicate my time to it, even at a young age, right? I feel like even if young players can actually understand, like, okay, what does it mean to look myself in the mirror and really say, hey, I want to dedicate myself, sacrifice my time, and really um, be as good as I can to the sport that I said that I have a passion
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
I felt like, and it's the same thing with the kids I coach and the kids I do training for now. I'm like, hey, like, I'm happy that you throw the hardest as a 12-year-old. I'm happy that you're really trying to make it to the big leagues, but like really understand what it comes with that.
Right.
Really try
Right.
to understand like what's that work ethic, what's that sacrifice, what's that mindset that you're going to consistently have to do each and every single day out. And kids are figuring that out even younger, right? I tell people all the time where, like I said, I just got done last year, and I tell people, I'm like, man, I got out when, like, hey, things were getting really hard to get a job, right?
Mm.
So the things that I had to figure out when I was, like I said, in that beginning stage of really playing competitive baseball, is stuff I wish I had learned that I know now. If you
Okay.
get kind of get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 I
Like the
understand.
same stuff that I had learned throughout my whole professional career are the same things that I'm teaching kids at 10 years old.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like these kids aren't even preteens yet, but I'm letting them know like, hey, like you say you really want to do this, like, because at some point in everybody's game, I don't care who you are, you may play in the big leagues, overseas, minor league ball, independent ball, I don't care. At some point, the child game becomes business.
Correct. Correct.
And when you grow up and you understand that, then you can kind of take the hits that the game of failure kind of gives you, right?
Right.
kids don't really understand. Like, hey, like I need to understand this so I can be prepared to handle this in the future.
I got you.
And I think that the passion I had for the game was love, love the game. Um, so that's just always what I had. And so the minute going from high school, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, cool. 12th grade, we're about to get drafted, cool, great. I still had that love for the game, love for the game, love for the game. And it still carried into pro ball. But those first 2 years of pro ball was like, oh, ain't nobody preparing me for this.
And we gonna get into that. We
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, yeah.
I like what you
Ain't
said.
nobody preparing me for this. But anyway, like I said, so from the time ninth grade, like I said, I was by the time I walked on Sprayberry's campus, like I said, they was pretty good when I was a freshman. So I was like, man, let me see if I can make the freshman team. Let me see if I can make the varsity as a freshman. Didn't end up doing that, played JV, and then from sophomore year to varsity, then I made the varsity team.
Okay. Okay.
But it was super, super. I say competitive. So I don't know if you don't know much about Atlanta baseball or where I grew up, we in Marietta, Georgia,
Yeah.
man, powerhouse. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about you got to understand the kids that they see now are the kids I had to go up against. Dylan Cease, right? Those are guys I had to play when we were playing travel ball. My high school teammate, he's a big leaguer. Michael Chavis, right, was my shortstop. Right, he was a first rounder by the Mets, by the Red Sox, 2014. So like, I'm playing with dudes at a young age and really understanding like, okay, to get to this level or to get to where I want to be, hey, boom, I want to be drafted. I have to understand what that looks like, and I got to put in the work. So,
Mm,
at a young age, I try to become a perfectionist because I wanted it so bad.
I got it.
Now that I'm older, at 29, I really wish I was just like, you know what? You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Like, just focus on getting 1% better every single day.
I got you.
One
I
percent
got
better
you.
every single
I
day.
got you. I got
So
you.
that was, I think, Mackenzie from when he was a freshman in high school till now. I wish he had a better understanding of it's gonna be okay. Like,
Hmm.
enjoy the game, love the game, but understand, bro, it's just a game. I think a lot of kids tie their emotions to their performance, and that's something that I did at a young age,
Yeah.
which I wish I knew when I was younger.
Yeah, you probably did that due to the fact that you wasn't educated. You just
Mm-mm.
didn't know. I mean, if you don't,
Mm-mm.
I can't fault you for something you don't know. Now, once you
Mm-hmm.
know it, then you're responsible for what you know.
Right.
Now, you talked about Atlanta or Marietta, Georgia's baseball. Now, you are the very first person on this show in 46 episodes
Yeah.
that has played in Marietta. What is it like compared to any other state? Because Florida, I'm in South Florida. Now, South
Yeah.
Florida is no joke.
Yeah, yeah. So I just had this conversation the other day with somebody. I was just like, "Is Georgia still a powerhouse? But are we 1 and 2? I don't know because you got crazy dudes, crazy kids coming out of Florida, and then Texas,
Oh yeah, yeah,
crazy, California, crazy.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I tell people, no matter what region you are in the country, you got to come to East Cobb. You got to come play
Right.
perfect game, right?
Perfect
You
games there. Right.
yeah, you got to come play. So the perfect game that I grew up being in, right? It was still big, but the perfect game now that kids come is blown up.
Right.
Where I tell people all the time, like just even now, I just got back into coaching a little bit last year, and the travel baseball. I have two teams. I had a 12-year-old team and a 13-year-old team,
Okay.
and the travel baseball I know now, all the teams that I thought I knew, man, I don't know none of them other teams anymore. So I'm just like, oh man, they don't exist. I said, oh
Right.
man, I'm out of date. 'Cause I've been, just in pro ball the whole time. I haven't really focused on it. So, but the biggest thing that I see in kids now is that they're so big on how everything should look, and rather than bro just focus on the game, like all that frills and stuff, like just focus on the game. I wish, hey, if I really had understood that when I was
Right.
younger, then not the physical side of things. Cause like I said, I thought I was a pretty good pitcher, pretty good ball player. Definitely has some development to do. Um, Reasons why I didn't ultimately get to the big leagues. But the biggest thing was if I had a better mental capacity to understand what all of this really comes with and how
Right.
to really like understand the roller coaster, the waves. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right. I understand. I understand. Listen, I understand exactly what you're talking about. I'm just listening to you because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, basically, you're talking about the process of growth because you're becoming a professional. Because you're always becoming a professional, getting better and better. And when you get out of high school, you know, you don't really know it because you're young. You
Nah, not at
you're
all.
18, 19 years old, and most guys go to college, but you just had the opportunity to go pro, which I think that's a great thing, but there comes with good and there comes with bad. There's a good side and a bad side of it.
Yeah, like, man, I could really tell you the day I, I tell people all the time, I knew that I was gonna get drafted to play professional baseball. Not basically sold off my talent just because, hey, everybody's talented. Like I said, nowadays everybody throws 100, right? What makes you
Yeah.
different? I
Right.
just knew that, hey, I was consistent enough. I did what I needed to do, and I know that I hate to say I've grown enough relationship with the scout that was training me on a consistent basis. Hey, this kid's getting better and better and better. So he's had enough stamps on me to be like, hey,
Yeah.
if he goes to school, he goes to school. But hey,
Yeah.
this guy is a
Yeah.
guy that could come out of high school and play pro ball,
I
right?
like that,
I'm
McKenzie.
blessed to have those type of advantages, right? A scout sees a kid enough, grows a relationship with a kid enough. He's gonna be able to make some stuff happen, right?
I like that.
Um, Even if you were first round or first overall pick, hey, you didn't grow it enough. Favored with the organization, with the team, to be like, hey man, you're our guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was blessed to be in a situation like that,
Mm-hmm.
on top of performing in high school as well.
Brother,
Um,
Mackenzie, that's good stuff, man, because you said two words. You said consistency. You
yeah,
said consistency,
yeah,
and you said relationships.
yeah,
That's two key things to get to the next level.
yeah,
Because if you know somebody and he knows your work ethic, not because you can play, but because there's moments, there's a lot of people that can play, but they haven't been recognized or they don't know someone. I mean, let's talk about this, Mackenzie. Throw this one at you. Let's throw this one out here at you. LeBron James' son.
mm-hmm,
Okay, here's another one, and I love him
mm-hmm,
dearly. Deion Sanders, primetime, his
mm-hmm.
son. I'm not saying these guys can't play, but it makes it a lot easier when you have someone that you know and trust you, right?
Like I said, you man, those pedigrees is crazy. You just mentioned, man. Like I said, like I love Coach Prime. Like I said, I love watching Colorado play. And then, like I said, even with LeBron son, like I think those are two players where I know Prime son. Like I said, he's supposed to be like a number one and number two pick. As a
Correct,
quarterback.
correct, correct.
And with Bronny, I mean, man, I hate when people say, "Oh, he's not that good. He's not pro material." Man, who are you to, with consistency and development and experience, right? And like I said, he's able to. The one thing that he has that a lot of people don't get to have, that's why they're talking so much noise. He is blessed with the ability to be allowed to grow.
Correct. Development. He can
He's
develop.
he's allowed to develop, right? Like I said, if it's because of his father, who cares? How many other
Right,
dudes out there in the world
right,
has that ability, right? Regardless if it's sports or anything else, it could be a
right. A
quote. It could
job.
be
It could be a job. Yeah.
it could be a job. Like, hey man, he's blessed with the opportunity to be allowed to grow,
Right,
which
right,
and the rest is up to him. Hey son, here you go.
right,
I made this happen to the best of my ability because what would any father do, right? They want their
right.
son
For his
to
son.
succeed. So
That's
I
right.
hate when anybody. I'm like, man, if it was your people, you would do the same. So I don't want to hear
Right,
that. My dad would do the same thing for me. Hey, anything to make sure that my son is in the best position possible.
right.
Okay. The rest is up to him.
Mm-hmm.
Go do what you gotta do. Because at the end of the day, hey, I can lead a horse to the water. I can't make him
Make him
drink it.
drink. That's right.
It's up. It's up to you. At the end of the day. So when it comes to those situations, I'm just like, man, like these people that worked hard too to get to where they're at.
Right,
They've been consistent. They perform. Now it's up to them to do it at the highest
right,
level.
right. And what you just said, it brings me up to one other thing you're thinking about. Let's talk about you got LeBron's son, Bronny, and then you got Shador. Now we didn't even talk about his other son, Shiloh. We didn't even talk about
Yeah, yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't even
yeah.
say him. But the key is this: you said the key word was we can learn something from each situation. We can learn something from each. And
Right.
like you just said, let's think about if I have a son, I don't think he's the best player, but if he put in the work and I see a development, I will go ahead and rub shoulders with that guy over here, develop a relationship, and say, hey, listen, they probably gonna pick you up, son, but you got to put the work in. It's on you then. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is people try to be a police and police people. Like we talked earlier before we
Oh, he
started.
didn't get there just by
Right,
himself. I mean,
right,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
everybody got to get it out the mud. No, we ain't got. We ain't got to live by that, bro. It's not that deep. Like, and I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not saying some of the realest
Right,
athletes in the world and people that done really done went through trials and tribulations to get to where they're at now, Hall of Fame status type
right,
people, right?
right,
100%. But I'm just like, bro, like, there was nothing. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
right.
being in the right position at the right
At the
time with
right
the right
time.
people
That's right.
ain't nothing wrong with that
That's
at
favor.
all.
That's God's favor. I call
Yeah,
it
that's
God's
God.
favor. That's God's
That's
favor.
blessing. If you able to get through the mug and still okay, then hey, God truly knew. Hey, from the moment you
Right.
took your first breath, you was
That's
gonna be
right.
on the
Right, right,
mountaintop.
right, 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 right. You're right. I mean, I'm with you. That I mean, I got to give you an amen on that. You're
Yeah,
100% correct. Because at the end of the day, guess what? We all need favor. We
yeah,
all need a favor. Because guess what? Maybe not playing baseball or basketball or football, but that job you want, or that business loan you want,
yeah,
or that sponsorship that you want, or something. Man, I gotta wish I had a relationship, But that's another story for another time. But we hitting it perfect. That's
yeah.
exactly what we're
Like
talking about.
that's just in life. Like I said, I know we're talking mainly about sport, but that's just in life. Even in me, right? I own a business, I own a real estate company, and like the reason why I'm able to be successful, or reason why I may not be successful in other situations, is solely because of relationship. Hey, somebody may have a certain situation that may be able to
Right,
push them along. All right, like I said, you just said like banks, right? If you have a relationship with the bank, you're gonna have an easier time. If you don't,
right.
then you're gonna have to go through hula hoops, right?
That's right.
So it's all. I feel like it's universal at the end of the
That's
day.
right,
It
right.
just
And
works.
I'm with you 100% because I used to have a mortgage company,
Okay.
and I did it for 14 years.
All right.
Now, okay, just say the first year. The first year, you're just rubbing your shoulders,
Right.
but as we got to the eighth year, 10th year, everybody knew me.
Yeah.
And then I could call people, say, hey, by the way, I got such and such. This person needs such and such. Oh, okay, are they good? They asked me a few questions, and they said, yeah, based on your recommendation, Savell, we're gonna let them in, and
Right.
that's what it is. That's like you said, it's universal. I mean,
Yeah.
but people, they try to be. I call them the polices. They want to police everything and give people tickets. Like, be quiet, because if
It's
you're in a situ,
noise. It's noise, man. Like at the end of the day, it's like, man, you can't fault somebody for that, right? You can't look
right?
somebody down because I'm like, man, like
Because it could be you. It could be
it,
you.
it could be you. Yeah, if you put in that just because you aren't put in that position or you haven't been put in that position, you want to get on somebody else. Like, bro, get it out the mud. Get it out the mud. If you had help, you had help.
Hell,
Like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
it's up to you how you finish it.
Yeah, it's
It's
up.
up to
It's up
you.
to you how you finish it, right?
That's
Hundred
it.
percent.
That's
Hundred
it.
percent.
But hey, you go into a high school in Georgia, and it's called Sprayberry High School. Was that a
Mm-hmm.
big school or a small school?
Man, so like it's cause my folks still stay in Marietta, right? So I stay downtown, right? So
Okay.
so anytime I go back, I think I passed the school maybe like a month or so ago. Man,
Okay.
that ain't the same high school I went to. So like I said, I'm talking about it's growing, right? So yeah, it's a big. I think we were 5A or 6A at
Okay.
the time, so
That's
we I
not
had a
bad.
pretty big graduating class.
Right.
But I mean, no, like I said, pretty big school. I think since I graduated, the baseball has declined.
Oh.
But
Okay.
hey, man, I can't. I don't know. But when I was there, yeah, pretty big school for the most part.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good, man. I mean, that's good. I mean, because you got. I mean, I don't know too many people in Marietta, Georgia. I know I have kin folks in Marietta, Georgia, but I do know that is a pretty good state and city that has athletes.
yeah,
Period.
100%,
Athletes.
man, 100%.
Football, basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
They
football, basketball,
and track
baseball,
and
and
track.
track.
They do it all there. I mean, it's just like a mecca.
Yeah,
It's a city within a city, and that's
man.
why you think about all the football games that are being there every year. The
Yeah,
college football playoffs and tournaments. They got big games there because of Atlanta. Everything's in Atlanta. Everything
everything.
goes to Atlanta.
That's
So
why I tell people don't move. We ain't got no room.
he
We got no room. You
said
can
no
come
room,
visit. You can stay a couple nights, man.
but you gotta
But no,
go.
I'm
But you
playing
gotta
with you.
go.
But no, like I said, it's one of the reasons where, like I said, I'm born and raised in Atlanta. So a little bit about I'm full blown Caribbean. Like I said, my mother's from Jamaica and my dad's from Saint Kitts and Nevis. And so,
Okay.
like I said, I'm the only person in my family that reps Atlanta so hard. Just because
Oh,
it's like I don't think that I think I maybe thought about it if I could live somewhere else, would I really do it? I can't do it just because Atlanta's just a one place where, man, you're gonna get, like I said, all types of culture. You're gonna meet all types of athletes. Even when it comes to the ball players, like we all know each other for the most part, right? If we play together, played against each other, play together pro ball, winter ball, whatever, like we all we all make sure like hey, everybody's good. Just for the most part, everybody knows each other, right? So
yeah.
it's just one big old community. Like I said, people think Atlanta's really big. It's small. if you're really from here, because I mean everybody just knows everybody, especially when it comes to baseball for the most part.
Yeah, go them Braves, boy. Hey,
Yeah, hey man,
we know about the Braves, so we're gonna.
they gonna make it happen. They gonna make it happen this year. We good.
Yeah, I know they will. But they've been like that for the Braves have been like that for years. I mean,
Yeah,
they've had when they had Cox as the man, they had Cox for forever in the day. He
right.
was forever. Like this guy ever gonna retire? He
Yeah,
he 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 he. He coached just as long as what's his name, that guy for the Yankees. I mean, he just gonna
yeah,
let. I'm like, dude, are you ever gonna retire? But they got a good farm system. They know how to recruit and scout people out, and
yeah,
God bless them. But I just want
yeah.
to put that out there. I'm not a Braves fan, but you got to give respect to play to a team that's good. Bottom line.
Right, right, 100%. Like I said, the break. I tell people all the time. Like I said, I live downtown. I live. I could probably take a 2 minute Uber to the old Turner Field. Right,
Oh,
so like I live right in the midst of everything. But Georgia, that's Georgia State's football field now. So I'll tell people like, man, you don't understand how it felt to have Jeff Francoeur at the plate, Chipper Jones, Martin Prada, Brian McCann. Like that was the era that I grew up when I went to go see the Braves. Like I said, you go to the Braves Stadium now in Smyrna, man, you could watch the game, go to the bar, rest. It's a whole situation down there.
yeah.
But like I said, it's a beautiful stadium. Like I said, the Battery is definitely one of the nicest ballparks in MLB.
Okay.
100%.
And you got drafted by the Washington Nationals. Now,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't been around that much longer because they used to be the Expos back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And my question to you is, I think they won the World Series not too long after that. My question to you is, what was that like coming in from Georgia, uh, going to get drafted the 18th round by the Washington Nationals? How was that?
So like I said, going back, so I think it was the man that drafted me, like I said, Eric Robinson. He used to be a scout with the Nationals. Like I said, that's like my big brother. So, like I said, he was able to see me grow as a pitcher, and he's like, hey, I did a pre-draft workout in
Okay.
Hagerstown, Maryland. So he picked me up, DC, boom, we drive to Hagerstown. Um, and I go pitch. I think I got up to like maybe 90 miles an hour. Some of the scouts there recognized me. They said, "Oh man, you look pretty good." Like definitely hope to hear your name called. Um, I I wasn't too. I don't want to say that because that sounds ungrateful. So I was definitely excited to get drafted, but I knew I had to make a decision. I could either go play Division One baseball. At the time, I was committed to Alabama State, and I was also committed to Chipola Junior College. So
Okay.
Chipola Junior College, powerhouse down in Florida, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
um, it was either hey, go ahead take 1 year junior college, uh, produce your skills some more, and getting a higher draft and make a bigger signings bonus, right? Or my mind was thinking about like maybe I could get injured. You know what I mean? You never know what happens. Um, my mom wanted me to go to school. Mom wanted me to go to school, right? I want you to grow up, this, that, and the third.
Right.
My dad's like, hey, it's your dream. Do what you feel is right.
Okay.
And so ultimately I chose to go play pro ball, right? So all the other my boys got drafted, so that was cool. Um, but I think the first 2 years since it was so rocky, it was like, did I make the right decision?
Mm.
Right? So I tell people all the time, like, of course, money comes into play. I think you truly have to believe in yourself, regardless if you get picked in the last pick or you the first overall pick. Of course, first overall pick, you gonna go. You got paid. You better go.
Right.
Um, I think if you're drafted in where I was, if I had a son at the time now, hey, if you got over slot and whatnot, when it comes to money, hey, that's a family decision. I feel like ultimately it's a family decision, right? If
Right.
but at the end of the day, it's you, right? You have to be okay with understanding that, okay, the goal is to play 10 years in the big leagues and make pension and win a World Series and all that. Okay, but the percentage of people that get a chance to
Right.
really do that
Right.
is nil to none.
Right.
So be in the mental capacity to be okay that hey, the goal is to play 10 years in the big leagues, but that may not happen.
Hmm.
Even if you were first overall pick, there's a lot of people that are drafted in the first round, second, let's just say top 5 rounds that are not on an MLB field today,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Within the last 10 years,
You're
right?
right.
So it's development. It's the C word we talk about consistency, and having just a good mental understanding of of yourself. The game will be the game. The game will take care of itself, right? But
Right.
have a really good understanding that, hey, I'm Mackenzie, the baseball player. I'm not. Like what I'm trying to say is like baseball can dictate how you feel on a daily basis, right? Like I said, I'm not Mackenzie. I don't want to be Mackenzie, the baseball player. I want to be, hey, I'm Mackenzie that plays baseball, right?
Right.
I'm my own individual person, and then baseball is also something that I
I
do
do.
as
That's something you
I
do.
do, right? That's where you could like, cause man, once you get in that rabbit hole of like, oh man, I gotta
Right.
get there, I gotta get there, I gotta get there. I mean, you ultimately gonna fail.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing. I
I,
was definitely excited. My mom was happy. She was on the phone with all my aunties. I'm like, man, I don't know how you got 10 people on the phone. But I think like I said, my dad gave me the iPad. He's like, hey, you just got drafted. I was like, okay, cool. And then for the next 2 days before I had to make a decision, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what I truly want to do. So like I said, I definitely said the first 2 years of pro ball because of just learning how to be a professional. Like we just
right.
talked about, right? Like
Right. Right.
learning how to be a professional is something that like I was not taught to do. I was a kid
Which
out of high school that
right.
had just a really good arm. I was big and I was lefty, and I had a good breaking ball. Um, but nobody really taught me, hey, this is what it's gonna be.
Right.
And when you're 18, like I said, I was playing pro ball in braces. I came in mouthful of braces, playing with college juniors, guys from the DR, Venezuela, Mexico, that all they did was learn how to be a professional since they was 16 years old.
Correct.
Ain't nobody
Correct.
taught me that. So it's something that I really didn't start picking up. I think I started understanding more my second year of pro ball, but once that third year where I realized like, hey, I gotta start moving up the ladder, or I'm not gonna be in pro ball anytime soon. That pressure kicked on, and I said, okay, Mackenzie, like you gonna have to look yourself in the mirror, and like we gonna do this or we not gonna do this,
I
and
got you.
ultimately it helped out in the long run.
I appreciate that you saying sharing that because it just told me you had to grow. You figured it out. I have to grow
Mhm.
because if you're 18, you graduate. By the time you get 21, you're like, hey, I ain't gonna. I'm not 18 no more. The ladder is going up. I have to go up with the ladder. Which I was gonna ask you about your first day of spring training because I know that Washington Nationals are in Palm Beach, Florida. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah,
And you came down here this way. And how was that experience?
right.
As an 18-year-old coming in.
So the Nationals were in Cocoa Beach, so they were in Vieira, Florida before they
Oh,
moved.
that's right.
Right, so they was at a like Space Coast Stadium, so they were
Yeah.
they were in Cocoa Beach.
That close to Jackie
Um,
Robinson. Jackie Robinson.
no, that's Vero Beach, but not
Okay.
too far away though. Not too far
Okay.
away though. So we was in. So I'll say probably let's say about like 45 minutes outside of Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah, not right over there. So my first 3 years was in Vieira, and then ultimately 2017 they opened up the one out in West Palm,
Okay.
and then we went out there. But so 2017, boom, I had a pretty decent year. I'm on the elevator, right? I get invited to early camp. I'm excited. I'm proud of myself. I'm like, all right, man, like you growing. Let's keep it going. So from the spring training facility we had in Vieira, it was times 10 the one we had in West. The one in West Palm was dope. We had cafeteria, state of yard stuff. The big leaguers had their space. We had hot tubs. So that whole facility is really 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 nice. So stepping
Yeah.
on that new spring training field was dope for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I know because we have our travel ball there as well, and I know
Hmm.
that it's the cream of the crop. I
Yeah.
mean, cream of the crop. So I mean, I just had to bring that out there because a lot of people want to know, well, how was his spring training and how da 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 da. And
Right.
you played 14 years. You went from coming from the Nationals, then I think you went to the Phillies, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And then how was that transition? And can you educate the listeners how did you deal with you're 18-year-old, you get drafted, big lefty, now you got traded. How did you take that first trade and your emotions? How did that
Man,
go?
I tell people all the time where so that whole 2017 season, I'm in Hagerstown, Maryland. I'm in Low A, and I'm dominating. Yeah, I think that was probably my best year of my professional career where um, I had 10 plus wins. I led the whole league in wins, strikeouts, whip. I mean, I was just on it. I didn't know what happened. I was just like, I think I'm starting to really figure it out. I was dominating my competition.
Okay.
Started throwing harder. Things got more consistent. Um, the only thing on my mind was like we talked about just moving up the ladder. Right. I felt like you know, if I can be in low A half a year, if I can be in high, and this is how majority of guys that are in pro ball think, hey, I want to move to the ladder as fast as possible because I want to get to the big leagues. We got to go through all these steps. And before 2020, when they knocked off the two minor league team, it was rookie ball, short A ball, high A, double. You know what I mean? So many levels that you had to get to.
Correct.
And the Nationals were an organization where they're not they're not gonna skip over
Oh.
levels. You gonna touch each one.
Oh.
You gonna touch each one,
Oh.
unless you're just the exception, like a Juan Soto.
Right.
Like I said, I played with Soto. I played with Victor Robles. I played with a lot Blake
Well,
Perkins.
was it
Like I
Harper?
said,
Was what about the guy Harper, big lefty, the one that the national drafted?
no, 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 no.
Uh,
He was not Bryce.
Bryce. Bryce.
No, 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 no. He got drafted way, way before me. I was still a kid when he got
Okay.
drafted.
Okay.
But like I said, it was one of the things where I want to stay on the level of these guys that are, you know, top prospects, right? Since I see him, since I'm performing as somebody that hey should be moving up. So like I said, I think I made the All Star team,
Okay.
and I'm still in low A. I'm still in low A, and finally, I had a we played the Augusta when the Braves were in was it the Braves or when the Giants were in Augusta at the time. I think they still had a team out there in Augusta, Georgia. I went out there. At this point, I'm irritated. I've proven myself. I want to move up. My coordinator comes into town. I'm like, hey, and at the time it was our coordinator at the time was Paul Menhart, and he was he helped the Nationals win a big league World Series. So that was their pitch coach. So that was my coordinator at the time. I'm like, Paul, and it's fine. We got a good relationship. He's proud of me. I'm like, man, what do I have to do to move up? He's like, man, just keep on pitching. Like I said, after that game in Augusta, did good, did great. I'm like, man, I don't know what else I can do. Maybe I'm just spending the whole year in low A. Forget about it. We had a good year. Proud of yourself. Tackle it next year. I get called in
Right.
the office. Hey, Millsy, you're gonna go to high A. I'm ecstatic. I call my dad. I call my agent. Boom. Hey, finally I'm moving up. And this is when I got considered to be like a top prospect now, right? That now my name's getting out there. So you feeling good about yourself, right? You like, man, you work so hard to prove that hey that you can make it happen. You like, man, we got more hard work to do, but hey, like you're like, you know what, I could do it, right? After
Mm-hmm.
doubting yourself for the first 2 years, right? After that mental battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, you know what, I can go ahead and do it. I get to Potomac, Virginia. That's where their high A was. I didn't get to pitch yet. Just kind of get familiar with everything. Just moving into my host family's house with one of my teammates, DJ Johnson. He was in the big leagues last year with the Orioles.
Okay.
Um, we living together. Everything's cool. I'm thinking, all right, man, we're gonna finish out the season in high A, and then we just gonna have a good rest of the summer. I remember like it was nighttime. We had just got some food. I was like, hey, bro, let's go down in the basement. Let's go watch a movie real quick. Like, I mean, we ain't got nothing to do. Get a phone call. It was my farm director at the time, and he was like, "Hey, Millsy, I just want to let you know, man, I'm proud of you this year. You're doing a great job. Um, we're gonna go ahead and trade you to the Washington Nationals. I mean, no, to the Philadelphia Phillies, right? We're gonna go ahead and trade you. You're probably gonna see it here on on some social media platform soon, but we're gonna trade you to the Philadelphia Phillies." I was like, bro, I just got here. Just got my jerseys. Just got my hat. So I'm just like, all right, cool. I just got here. And then I'm looking at it. I called my agent. I was like, hey, they just traded me. He was like, what? Yeah, they just traded me. I called my dad, and I was just like, man, they just traded. He was like, man, nah, there ain't no way. I go look online. Boom, I just got traded. And now at the time, I was for Howie Kendrick, right? And he's been a force in the big leagues for big league all star. So I'm like, okay, cool. They trade me straight up for a big leaguer. That's pretty dope. And then once I got to Philly, it was good for that last couple months I was there. I was like I said, I was still in their high A, and they're in Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
So I was there. I think the Phillies organization is great. So like I said, no, it wasn't too crazy. I was just stunned when it first happened. I was just like, And my mom like, this is a good thing, this is a bad thing. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, if they trade you, they don't really like you like that. I think it was just my stock was rising, and it was at the point to where I think the Phillies were in a playoff push, and they're like, if we can go grab a piece,
Right.
maybe they're like, hey, I got this nice young prospect, he's finding his way, we'll give you Howie, right? Like, oh, we'll trade for Howie. Okay, cool. Then boom, let's make it happen. So, like I said, that's where, like I said, you start to see the business side of things rather than
Right.
just you playing the game. So that's where
Right.
I kind of got my first understanding. Like, oh nah, like this is a business. I
Mm-hmm.
see they make moves that's gonna benefit them, and
Right.
sometimes not you, just depending on the situation.
Right. And it's basically you just working for them. You
Yeah.
are a commodity for their brand. For their brand. So basically, you are part of the brand, but you are not the brand because they're trying to make their brand bigger and grow.
Right.
And I mean, that's business. That's just business. I mean, and like I said, I think they need to have a class to teach all professionals. Listen, this is a business. You may be traded tomorrow, just so they can get that in their head. Say, listen, this is all business. You came here for business. We're here for business. We're working together trying to achieve one mission
Right.
to get better. Each,
Right.
but the bottom line is they don't have that because at the end of the day, a lot of guys get upset when they get traded, McKenzie. A lot of guys have temper tantrums. A lot of guys go through a whole.
Man.
We got a situation now in Miami. Mr. 22. He has a temper
Right.
tantrum right now. I'm like, but it's business, and that's just the way you have to. You have to be able to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly at the same time. Because at the end of the day, you notice what I'm about to say. We're all playing a kid's game,
Right.
and you're getting paid for it. And most people don't get a chance to do that. They don't get a chance to do that. But you
No.
but you were blessed. God blessed you to have an opportunity to do that. So I would say stop crying and do what you do what you need
Yeah,
to
and
do.
like I said, like it gets so deep to where, hey, yeah, people think, oh, you're getting paid to play the game, but like, there's a lot of struggles that come with that. Like I
Hmm.
said, if you got paid, if you didn't get
Hmm.
paid, or you really just
Yeah.
trying to get to the big league. I've seen so much to where, you know, guys are really fighting tooth and nail to protect the dream they had in the backyard when they was kid. Like,
Right.
I know dudes that are still playing right now that probably will never see the big leagues, but they still playing the kids game because they love it so much. I think once I really understood business, once I really understood like, hey, like, you know, I love the game of baseball, but I know at some point I'm gonna have to serve it in a different way,
Right.
rather than me going out on the mound and striking folks out.
Right.
Um, I feel like if people could really have that understanding of baseball, or just themselves, period, then I think overall their mind and their mental is just going to be better. They're gonna have a better approach about the game,
Yeah.
right? Even right now, like I said, I want to go play right now, right? If I really wanted the opportunity, I know, hey, I can make some calls, right? People that support me know my game, know I can see and go play the game of baseball 100%. But the one thing people don't understand, life happens. You, like I said, start to understand the game as a business, and if you really do have a passion for the game, you can find fulfillment even serving it in a different purpose. And I
Right.
think people just don't understand where they only understand that, hey, like, this is where I say separate yourself from baseball sometimes. Even while you win it, you could be in the big leagues. Separate yourself. You are your own person outside of this game.
Hmm.
I think people find identity crisis and really don't understand that, hey, you were somebody before you picked up this baseball.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I like that. And also, you were your own brand anyway. You
Hmm.
are your own brand. Before there was even any MLB, you played.
Hmm.
You were still Mackenzie
Yeah.
Valentine Mills,
Right.
regardless. And
Right.
that's your brand. That's what your parents gave you. God gave you this opportunity
Yeah.
to live. So live your brand. I mean, and I think that, having an opportunity to play sports is just a platform that God has blessed you with a talent to display it so other people can enjoy it.
Right.
And you just have the opportunity to gracefully get paid for it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. That's like revelation. You
I
know,
tell people all the time, like, man, I've traveled to places that I never thought I'd travel to. Not out of the country, just places where I'm just like, man, you wouldn't catch me dead in that town. But I went there. So at the end of the day, like, I've traveled to places. I've been able to play across the world. Like I said, I've gotten a chance to play in Venezuela. I've got a chance to play in Mexico. I got a chance to play in Germany. I got a chance to toe a big league rubber when I got to play in the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully, I may have opportunity to do that again next year.
Right.
So it's just like the journey that baseball has put me on. I'm grateful for. I'm thankful for it, and you just have to understand, like, hey, like you're gonna play as long as physically possible, and then once that time comes, be okay with it.
Right. Right.
Right? Really understand. I think, like I said, a lot of guys struggle with life after baseball, are feeling like, man, like I'm just not getting the opportunities that I really want. And it's one of those situations where you could think about it two ways. If you don't like it, play better, or really have that mature conversation with yourself,
Right.
and really realize where you're at in life, and really feel
Mm-hmm.
where you're at with your playing career, and just go from there.
Well, you got a lot of wisdom for the listeners. I mean,
Yeah.
because I didn't have that when I was playing college baseball. I didn't have that. I'm like, I can't. You were blessed to have that, and plus more, you had an opportunity to go play at an earlier age. I mean, I got done playing at 25, and I started late. I didn't start playing baseball till I was 10,
Mm,
and I was the only lefty, and I lived in Chicago, so only thing they knew how to do was play basketball.
right.
So I had to really just learn on my own on the fly.
Right.
And I'm left-handed, and
Yeah.
nobody's left-handed. No one can throw. So that's some very good wisdom you've given the listeners, and with that, being traded for the Phillies, then you get traded one more time.
I
You get
did.
traded one more time. So now you're going through the third team. How did you handle that transition? Because at the end of the day, you've already know what it's all about the business. So my question to you is, what happened in that situation?
Um.
Being traded to the Marlins.
So that situation was that first spring training. So my first spring training with the Phillies, I struggled. I didn't do too well. They were I was I did something that I teach a lot of kids. Hey, keep some information, and some information just went out the other. Hey, keep the stuff that actually works. But the one thing I try to tell, because even if they're about to get drafted, or they're about to enter their first college season, hey man, don't forget what got you in that position in the first place. And I mean that. Do not forget what got you in that position in the first place. There's going to be adjustments. There's going to be some things you need to learn. Don't forget what gave you that opportunity in the first place. So going over there, you trying to people please. You trying to, you know what I mean? You really trying to say, hey, I'm the guy that could play on the big league team within the course of the next 2 years. I think I was 22 at the time, so I had a little bit of time to go. I'm like, hey, I'm the guy, right? So, and I'm doing different mechanical stuff that I'm not doing just because, hey, I want to follow the program. Like, it messed me up. And so I'm in the middle of spring training, like, man, this I was like, man, this shit ain't working. So I'm just like, hey, like, okay, let me try to figure myself back out. So middle spring, I'm trying to figure out who I am to even be traded in the Phillies in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy they want to see. So like I said, I still go to high A. I had a good first start to the year. I'm thinking, all right, cool, I'm good, I'm straight. And then for 2 games, I struggle.
Okay.
I get called in the office. Hey, Mac, you struggling a little bit. We're gonna put you in the bullpen. At the time, I've only been a starter, so this is my first time um, in relief. And I had
Okay.
like I said, I'm not gonna lie about it. Like I feel like it's cool. Like I had an attitude. I was upset because, I wanted to be the big league starter this down the third. And I really had to understand. Hey, anybody that was a starter in the big league in the minor leagues was a successful. Anybody that was a successful starter in the minor league ended up for the most part being a successful reliever in the big leagues,
Right.
right?
Right.
I didn't have that mind. I say I'm gonna stay starting my whole career until I get to the big leagues, right? Um, and I was upset, but I said, you know what, we gotta do what we gotta do. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go ahead and just do this. Boom, went well, and then I had an opportunity to start. I said, hey man, we need a spot starter. Who's interested? I said, me. Let's go. Let me
Mm-hmm.
get it. Did well, and then that second half of that season, I produced. Right, think I had like a 2 ERA. I was just doing well, so I'm like, all right, finally we getting back to who we are. And same situation. I had a good start. Um, we got back to the clubhouse right
Okay.
before I leave. My pinch was like, "Hey, Millsy, come here. Skip wants to talk to you." I'm like, "All right." I said, "Boy, I said it's getting serious now. Here we go." Hey, you going to Double A? So I packed up all my stuff. Boom, I'm excited. I'm like, man, finally. we getting closer. We getting closer where we want to go. We going to Dubs, and like I said, if you're a good enough ball player, if you make the 40 man, you go to Double A and you produce there, you may be able to go to the big leagues after that. You may not have to go to Triple A, right?
Right.
So like you said, every ball player that plays pro ball wants to be one of those guys. Rather you're in a first rounder or somebody that got drafted in the late rounds. Um, so I'm all packed. Boom. Pack up my. So I packed up my whole apartment. Um, put all my stuff in my car. Flew out. I'm gonna have to leave my car in Florida for the next 2 3 months. It is what it is.
Mm.
I get into Philadelphia. I'm texting my boy. I say, "Hey man, I'm flying out to Philly." They say, "Yeah man." They said somebody was coming up. This was Cornelius Randolph at the time. He was a big prospect with the Phillies coming up. I was like, "Man, I'm coming out there." He's like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna see you get here." Boom. I land, take my phone off airplane mode. I got a missed call. I'm like, "All right, let me see what's going on." I had a voicemail too from the missed call. So I'm like, "Man, what's going on?"
Right.
It was my phone director. Hey, Millsy, give me a call when you get a chance. I'm like, at the time, my mind's like, okay, maybe I'm getting invited to the Arizona Fall League. That's something where the top kids that probably gonna play in the big leagues go play in that for the fall. I'm like, okay, man, I'm going to the Fall League. Boom, whatever. I call him back. He said, "Hey, buddy, I need you to come back to Clearwater." What happened, man? I know it's gonna sound weird. Well, he didn't say it sounded weird. He was just like, "Man, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you the second season. Deja vu all over again. I'm proud of you the second half of the season, but we traded you to the Miami Marlins. So go ahead and get your bags."
Oh man.
So I'm on the
Wow.
airport. I'm like, "What?" You know what I mean? I was frustrated,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I was also just like, man, I just got here, right? Another situation, right, where I didn't even spend 4 or 5 days in Philadelphia. I didn't even leave the airport. I
Wow.
didn't even walk outside. So I had to go get my bags, wait another 2 3 hours, go back to Clearwater, um, pack my bags again, boom, and then talk to the Marlins. I had to drive down to Jupiter, Florida for,
Jupiter.
and then their Double A team is in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
So I had to do all that in the course of 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. Same thing for a big league. I think the Phillies were on a playoff push, and they wanted a slugger. I think it was Justin Bour at the time,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
left-handed hitter. Um, they traded me for him, so I'm like, okay, another big leaguer. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe
Right.
they care about me too.
Right.
So yeah, so like I said, that whole day was like I'm blessed to be able to talk about these experiences, but
Right.
like I said, somebody that's just like, bro, I'm just trying to get to the next level. You just like, man, the third team, man, I don't know what this is. All in the same,
Oh man.
yeah, all in the same.
I'm just hearing the story is good because the listeners are hearing your story. It kind of give. I mean, I think of two things when you hear you talk. First of all, I think about seasons. Everything has a season and a time.
Right,
Ecclesiastes says that in the Bible. It says everything has a season and a time for everything. In other words, your season was up and your time was up. Now you got to go somewhere else. And then I start thinking about another scripture that says, "That all thy getting, get an understanding." Because when you're young, you're playing. You don't want to hear it. You want to
no,
know why. I got to move
yeah,
again. So and everything that you do, you got to get understanding because maybe you don't understand it today, but like you said earlier in the beginning of the episode, you talked about that. You may not understand it today, but later on, you will understand it because it all works together for your good. All
right,
works together for the good. I mean, you've had a 14-year experience. I mean, being able to play pro ball. For a guy to get drafted 18th round. Well, first of all, congratulations getting drafted 18th round from high school. I mean, because think
hmm
about it, it's a lot of guys don't make it past 3 years. You went
nah,
14, so
right,
you had to have some grit, some backbone, some tenacity, some zeal, some
right,
persistence. That's a great honor, and you're a pitcher.
right.
But pitchers are needed. If you can throw, you're gonna. But I think you made
Yeah,
the right
like, but
decision.
even through that 14 period, like I think my last 2 years, maybe 2 years of pro ball, like are playing, I was just like, am I gonna be able to get back to where I'm back on track, right? And that's all you're trying to think about. When you get released, when somebody takes the jersey off your back, doubt sets in,
Right.
right? Like, yeah, that was the most for anybody, right? So my mind is like, man, I can't believe that, and that's what happened in 2020, right? So,
But that
it's
was
all
was that was that a COVID year too, right?
COVID, yeah. Like I said, I was in Marlin spring training. They said, hey, everybody go home, and that's where they started making those cuts. And hey, I got that phone call. Me and hundreds of other players, right, that deserved it, not deserve it. Hey, that's
Right,
what the Marlins felt at that time,
right,
right? So think about that was a big cut, right? But somebody told me, hey man, like you could put the pinball in the machine and go play again. So like, what you gonna do about it? You gonna sit here? You gonna sulk, or
right,
you gonna go do something about it?
right, right.
Um, but like I said, that mental toughness is huge. I can give a crap about how hard somebody throw, how fast they hit the baseball, or how far they hit it. Like I don't care, bro. Do you really have the mental capacity to understand, like, hey, like this game is going to try you in ways that you never thought. It's not going to be success all the way up to the top.
That's right.
It's not like,
That's
are
right.
you mentally prepared for what has to come with it? I don't care if you are a junior that got drafted out of college, high school kid. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that's why I tell kids now, really work on your mental more than anything else. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's a children's game, but you understand, hey, it's a children's game, but it's business at the end of the day.
Yeah,
When you
okay.
get to that level.
That's right. That's right. And it's that way in college too. You think about it. They may not say it, but it's like that in college.
Oh, it's
Maybe
big.
not.
It's big business now.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
with all the changes, big business.
yeah. And I just wanted to say that because I mean, you hit quite a few. I mean, a lot of questions. You've already answered my questions. You've already just kind of went all out. I mean, I'm grateful for that because I got a few more questions. I'm gonna end it out, but let's talk about one other thing. Talk about your father. Your parents. How how was it for you to have a good leader or a bad leader? Is it needed for the kids to have good leaders and mentors to get to that next
That's what
level?
I said. God has blessed me with the ability to have an amazing support system. And like I said, that's a gift from God that I'm thankful for. I need to thank Him more each and every single day about it. But I I'm so grateful for that because I don't know with where I was mentally trying to understand the game and grow with the game. If I didn't have them supporting me and helping me out, I don't know.
Mm.
I know a lot of people don't want to admit that, but at the end of
Right,
the day,
right,
I'm gonna keep it real, right?
right,
So if nobody wants to admit that, like, hey, it's hard without a support system. Some people, like I said, some people get out of the mud. Hey, they just got that type of grit. They got that type of mindset. Cool, right? But like I said, I got my father raised me to be strong, 100%. But hey, like when you're in a pressure cooker like professional baseball, trying to get to the big leagues and trying
yes,
to get it to the top. At the end of the day, yeah, you want to play big league baseball, you want to hear your name called, but you're trying to live a lifestyle that those big leaguers live. You're trying to make the money that those big leaguers live, right? You're
right,
trying to really live this life. You put a lot of pressure on, right? And when certain things don't go your way, you got to have an outlet,
right,
somebody that you trust,
right,
right? So, but at the end of the day, my parents was gonna love me regardless if I made it to the big leagues or if I never picked up a baseball again. So, like I said, I'm blessed to be in that position. At the end of the day, like literally, my dad was so happy for me when I got to go play in the World Baseball Classic because he was like, man, I finally get to see my son play again. If I could wear a baseball jersey for the rest of my life, my dad would be happy. I promise you. But me and him would even go back and forth when I was like, hey, dad, I don't know if I want to play anymore. Um, and for me, like I'm just not getting opportunities that I really feel like are worth it.
right,
Um, if that's the money getting paid, which hey, I'll go ahead and say, hey, some opportunities, cool, it's great you're playing baseball, but if some things don't financially make sense, you're not gonna do it.
correct, correct.
And that's just when, depending on what age you're on or depending
That's
on
right.
what
That's right.
life you're in.
That's right.
Um, and he's like, oh, if you stop, then it may not come again, and that's true. Hey, once you stop, it may not ever come again, and that may be the same thing for me. I know, hey, I feel like right now, yeah, I could go play, but you know what I mean. If the opportunity's not there no more, it's not there no more, and you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Right, like I said, last year was my first time like not going to play for the summer. It was my first. Last year was my first full year staying home in Atlanta.
Wow.
So in the past 13 years, like I haven't been home a full year. Right, spent the whole summer here in Atlanta. Right, so it was cool. It was an adjustment, but I have a better mental understanding of who I am. Right, I'm
Okay.
separate from baseball. Right, like I said, a lot of people struggle with that. Even guys that I know right now that are done, kind of done playing. Like, hey, like it's a struggle for them still,
Yeah.
right? They don't may not want to admit that, but I'm like, hey, bro, I know.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta keep it cool with me, man. Just keep it real. I'm all about keeping it real. No matter how ugly it may be, man, I'm gonna keep it blunt with you, and that's the type of person I am. So, but later on, like I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I found different ways to show myself that hey, I'm gonna let you know what to do. So when you get put in this position, you're well equipped.
Yeah. I
Right.
like that.
So that's the biggest thing. I can find. I found other passions within the game to
Yeah.
satisfy that what I want.
I like that. I mean, I like that. I mean, that's good, man. I just want to say congratulations on doing that, making that leap. Because it's
Yeah.
a leap. It's a leap. I mean, it's not a walk. It's a leap. When you come from
Yeah.
playing ball for so long, it's more mental, like you said, because people think, well, I'm just going out here and play ball. I mean, no, it's more to
Man,
it.
you see what Cam Newton said the other day. Like he was just like he's doing that whole reality TV show. He was just like, I don't feel like Superman no more. He was talking about his money but whatnot, but he's like, man, I don't feel like Super Bowl. No, I don't feel like Superman no more because I'm not making the checks I used to make, or I'm not able to do the certain things that I'm
Yeah, I
used to.
used to
So
do.
like, this is a this is one of the best quarterbacks to do it, right? And he's still saying, hey, I still struggle with not being able to pick up that football and go throw it.
Right.
So what does that tell you? Like regardless of what level you play at, big leagues, NFL, NBA, it's hard to make that transition. That's why like I said, I tell people, bro, stay prayed up, talk to God, because He's the only way.
Oh yeah.
He's the only way that's
Only
gonna
way.
really help you out. Because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna support you. Everybody's gonna be like, man, it's good, it's great. You really need to be able to have that conversation with yourself and God, and really be like, it's gonna be okay,
Yeah.
and understand like
Right.
it's gonna be all right. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but no, I really feel like when it comes to having parents that are supportive or understanding that really can keep it real with you and understand who you are, it's a blessing for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And I've got like three questions left, and we're gonna
You
close it
good? You
out.
good?
Man, this has been very good because you've been very transparent,
Right.
and um, you're not being sportsy. You throwing on life skills. You putting life
Yeah.
skills out there. I mean, you
Yeah.
can use this in every aspect. I mean, for someone to be 29 years old and have been through so much, that's a blessing. And you're still standing today because some guys don't mentally make it. They just
Nah.
give up. They just crack up. I'm being 100% truthful because
Yeah.
I was one. I'm telling you. I mean, for
Yeah.
the listeners listen to me. They say, "Hey, coach," because I'm Coach Laurie. Coach, listen, you have no idea the mental capacity you go through playing baseball, trying to get to the next level. You have no idea. It's not just playing and hitting and running, stealing bases and throwing strikes. It's mental because you got to deal with that. Because at the end of the day, when you close that door, when McKenzie goes in his room by himself, he's by himself. When Savell goes in that room by himself, I'm by myself. So I personally believe I agree with you, touch and agree. You better have a relationship with God. You better have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Because if you don't, those walls start coming down and you just don't know. Because think about the guy that played for San Francisco several years ago, poked his eye out. He poked his eye out.
The pressure.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You talked about pressure, the crock pot situation. We need to be in the crock pot situation because we try to get out and be a microwave and we're not ready. And then all of a sudden we can't handle adversity. We don't know how to handle adversity because we didn't stay in the
Kids,
pot long.
kids don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of kids that play the game don't have an outlet for that. Like I'm not saying that. I'm not. Um, what's what I'm looking for? I don't want to say what he did was crazy or anything like that because everybody has their own individual experience, right? And in his mind and his situation, the pressure was so big that hey, like he ultimately harmed himself, right?
Right.
But like I said, he's now understood what happened, and now he's put himself in a position where he can help other people that deal with that, right? Me personally, I didn't deal with that much pressure. I didn't put that much pressure on myself, right? I'm just speaking solely on myself, right?
Correct.
Um, I think that I had a passion for the game just because I wanted it so bad. Um, but it's only just because, hey, like, I know that I'm good. I know I can get it done. I want to prove people wrong, right? When you an 18th rounder, you're not a first rounder, right? So you got to go prove something, right? To get to where you want to go. So you want to go try to prove something. I think the biggest thing with me was I know the reason why I didn't get to where I ultimately wanted to go was execution. consistency, right? I have good games, bad game, okay game, good game, bad game, right? If you want to get to the big leagues, you better be
Be consistent.
good majority of the time.
Correct.
Straight. I mean, that's just what it is. Um, and even though I was big lefty, 6'4", I could throw a fastball 94, 95. It didn't matter because it's all about consistency, right? You gonna take a 280 hitter with 10 home runs, or you gonna take a 210 hitter with 30 home runs, right? Which one's more consistent, right?
That's right. That's right.
Um,
That's
and to
common
get the
sense.
big,
That's
yeah, like
common sense.
yeah, you got superstars in the big leagues, and you got your consistent players. Those are the people that are going to maintain jobs.
That's right.
That's it. Like I said, I don't care if you could throw 100, but if you don't throw strikes, you're not gonna have a job, right? I mean, no, that's
That's
the
100 right. That's right.
yeah,
That's
that's the
right.
cliche thing to say. Like, hey, you could throw 100, but if you can't throw that ball over the plate,
It means
it
nothing.
don't matter. It'll give you opportunity, right? Somebody may take a shot on you, but ultimately, like,
You won't keep
this
your
is what
job.
it takes to play at the highest level.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
So for me personally, um, I think once I got older, I understood myself. So it wasn't so much of a mental battle. It was more or less of just, hey, you got to perform to get to where you want to go. And that's where I understood, like, hey, it's not just, hey, they're just going to guide you through. And no, you got to perform.
right.
It's sink or swim. And once I got that sink or swim mindset, then things starting to get a whole lot better to where I can handle stuff, right?
Yeah.
I never wanted to harm myself
Yeah.
um, because the pressure was so big. I really just thought, like, hey, man, relax. Go
Hmm.
play the game. After these
Hmm.
6, 7 innings, go chill
Right.
out. Like
That's
really
right.
understand. Like handle your job.
Right.
Separate yourself from
And let
baseball.
it go. And let it go.
Handle your job, good or bad. You had a crazy good game. But hey,
Let it go.
my dad is the one person where I'm gonna go to him to yell about baseball. We're gonna go back and forth about baseball, or he'll call me and want to talk baseball. I'm just like, man, how was your day? Right? What you had going on? Right? Like, oh, I want bad game or good game, right? Like because I can't just sit there and just think about the game so much. I already spend 10 hours at the field all day. I gotta separate myself
Right.
because
You
there's
gotta have
so
a
many
life.
players.
Life.
Yeah, life like so many players just get locked in, and then I think this one year is on one time I'm just like, man, there's life outside of baseball,
That's right.
and a lot of
That's
people
right.
struggle with that.
That's right, brother. Hey, I got something for you. I'm looking at your Instagram, and for the people that don't know, he has an Instagram. It's M underscore Mills 14.
Hmm.
M as in Mary underscore Mills 14. That's his Instagram. I know he don't mind, but I see on your Instagram you got a great, I think it's a Great Britain jersey. So tell the listeners about that before we get out of here. I can't let you get off without talking about this Great Britain. What is up with this Great Britain on this Instagram?
Man, I was flying, so I don't care what none of them haters talk about. It's all good, but no, everybody was kind of just like, man, no, they ain't really had enough time to make their jerseys, or they could have been a little bit more creative. All I gotta say is, I think I don't want to say that. I think the jerseys were made late, or the jerseys got messed up. I think we supposed to have like a whole different design,
Okay.
and then that whole order got messed up, so we had to do a rush order type situation.
Okay.
So I think that was a whole situation with that. But
Okay.
they're gonna be way better 2026. I
Okay.
promise you that it's gonna be a
So
whole lot
so
cleaner
so you gonna be playing in the next, is it next year or the year after
next year. Next
the
year.
world games? You're gonna be playing.
It
So who you
yeah. It
playing
just
for? Who you gonna be playing with? That's the
with
question.
hopefully Great Britain. Of course, we got a berth now, so now we don't have to go to the qualifier. Like I said, in
Okay.
2022, I had to go to Germany. We had to
Right.
go beat France, Germany, and then Spain. We had to go beat all those teams to go ahead and qualify for the World
Yeah.
Baseball Classic that we played in 2023.
Okay.
So this year we got a berth since we beat Colombia.
Okay.
So now we just go straight to the World Baseball Classic. So I,
Okay.
I I already talked to my skip. I said, man, I'm gonna maintain this 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
So you already
I'm,
qualified. Basically, you guys already qualified.
yeah, 100%. So I don't know what the team, quote unquote, may look like this year. I know they'll have some young guys. They'll definitely want some experienced guys.
Oh yeah, you need some vets. Gotta have some
Yeah,
vets.
like I'm real big on even if I'm out the game, I'm gonna stay in shape. Like I said, I coach and I train, so I still throw. So,
Okay.
like I said, as long as I maintain high 80s to 90, and I can throw a breaking ball,
You gotta throw a breaking ball now. You gotta
and
throw a
I can
breaking
throw a
ball.
breaking ball. Hey, coach, come and that time, like I don't I'm not emotional about it. It's a wonderful
Right.
experience.
You're just having fun
Um,
now. You're having fun. You're
I'm
enjoying
having
it.
fun at this point, man. Coach, you want me to start? You need 1 or 2 innings?
Whatever.
It don't
It's
matter.
matter.
Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
I may touch 95 and surprise myself. Who knows? Like, hey, man,
Yeah.
I may still, I got it.
I
But
like it. I like it. I like it.
but
The
yeah,
kids
no,
just
like,
like it. That's cool, man.
yeah, but no, that was. I tell people all the time, like, so they kind of stiffed us a little bit because everybody got an opportunity to practice on the field. On the we was at the D-back stadium. So what's Great Britain got? Everybody's like, man, Great Britain don't play baseball because the first
Right.
first first team we played was USA. So
Ooh.
I could tell people all the time they gave us the earliest practice schedule ever. They said, "Hey, Great Britain's slotted from I think like 6:30 to like 8:30 in the morning, right?
Ooh.
Early,
That's
right? But
travel. That's travel ball hours.
early, early. So I can't tell you, like I said, going, come from a guy like I said that the highest I got up to, like I said, double A, whatnot. Um, I tell people all the time, like, when you're inside a big league stadium, it's just different. I remember I was at a buddy's house in 2020. This is where they had the COVID big league year. He lives right next to the Battery. So when I tell you, like, even though ain't nobody going on, so they were able to create like an experience where um, there was like people in the stands. So like I don't know if they did through
I
like
guess. Yeah.
microphones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like they created like, oh, like
Like it was
nobody's
real
there because
people.
it's COVID,
Right.
but it
Like it was
sounds like
people. Like people still in the
sounds
stadium.
like people was there. So I'm outside. I'm hearing this. I'm just like that sounds like the dream you play with. It sounds like the dream you dream about
Right.
when you in the backyard as a kid, bases loaded. Like that's what it sounds like.
Mm.
So in that moment there, I had a moment to myself. I'm like, dang. Like
Mm.
I really do care and I really do love this game and I really do want to see what that feels like. So, and that's why I said you never know how God's gonna bless you
Mm-hmm.
in certain situations to put you in position that you always dreamt about.
Right.
So, like I
That's
said,
good.
6:30, boom, we walking through the tunnel, and then I finally get to see the field, right? And I'm just like, yo, this is dope. This is really really cool. And I was just like, man, I'm so thankful, I'm so blessed. Like this is really really this is dope. I thank God for it every single day.
That's good, man.
Um, and then, like I said, we get to play Team USA, and this is my first time. Like I said, I played in Mexico playoffs. I played again. I played it in front of 10,000 fans. Like I said, horns and everything like that. So I already done been in the heat of like some crazy stuff when it comes to everything like that playoff baseball. But 40,000 in the stands is crazy. Pop up goes up, stadium shaking. So I'm just like, all right, I want to play in the big leagues. All right, let's really see. Um, but like I said, I got to play against Nolan Arenado, right? I got to see Adam Wainwright pitch, right? I got to see, like I said, who else? I see Schwarber hit a bomb, right? I got to
Okay.
play against Mike Trout. Like I'm playing against dudes that is doing it right now in the big
Right.
leagues. I'm just
Big
like, man,
league.
like
That's
I'm gonna
good.
be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I tell you what, when you get to play the World Games again, and y'all come back to Miami, please let me know. Let me know.
And that's round two. So I think they're in Houston, and look, they got us going against USA again,
Oh gosh.
Mexico, and Italy. So they making sure we don't make it.
I'm
They
like,
try to
oh,
make sure. Nah, they got lucky, but no, we gonna make sure we give it to them
all
this.
right, man. But I just want to give out a shout because you played in the World Games, and that's a blessing within itself, you know.
Yeah,
And I appreciate you saying, you give God all the glory and the praise for all this because because hey, you have to be blessed, and He trusts you. He actually trusts you to go play. I mean,
right.
because a lot of guys can't be trusted. They just can't be trusted to go out there and do the job they need to do and still give God the praise. I got a question for you. Here's a question: Who is your Mount Everest pictures that you would put on a statue right now? Four top, the four top Mount Everest pictures of all time.
Of all time,
Yep.
Pedro Martinez,
You said Pedro,
Pedro, um, Tom Glavine,
Tom Glavine.
Mount Rushmore's of pictures.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and show some love because he just got inducted to the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna throw CC on there, big
CC.
lefty.
Okay. You
I
got a
got one
lefty.
more.
Yep.
I
You
got
got one.
one more. Ah,
Come on.
man.
Come on.
I got one more Mount Rushmore's pictures that I truly could that I think
Yeah, that you
deserve
can.
it.
Yeah, in your eyes,
Uh,
this is your moment.
oh, Randy Johnson.
You got two lefties.
Two left.
Yeah, I like it because Randy Johnson throws so hard. He throws so hard. You better get out the way. I mean, 99,
Mm-hmm.
100, and and CC was CC was CC. Pedro was he was like a firecracker on the
Yeah.
mound, and Tom Glavine is smooth as ever. He was just smooth, just
Right.
he looks like confidence when you look at him pitching back in the day, man. But I appreciate you showing me that you're Mount Everest. I got a couple more questions. So I know you played quite a bit of baseball.
Right.
You played high school. You played uh,
Right.
14 years, and you also played a little world baseball, which you did.
Right.
We didn't really get to get into that, but we're gonna get that one. Give us the play of the day that we have never seen that you can tell us that happened that nobody has seen it. A play of the day, all this baseball you have experienced that has never been seen. Can you give us a play of the? You can be in the play.
At the plate, you talking about like something that's happened to me in my baseball that nobody's
Yeah,
ever seen?
correct. In a game, in a
Uh,
game, in a game.
in a game.
Yeah, something you might have
Mm.
pitched. It could have been a walk, anything. I don't know, walk off or walk not off or whatever, no hitter, whatever.
Get it? I
Share,
got, I
share it
got,
with
I
us.
got two. I got
Hold
two
on,
for you.
go ahead.
One's in high school, one's in pro ball. So high school, regional game. I'm having a horrible day at the plate. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts. I'm hot. I'm like, man, I can't figure this out. And we was about to lose the game, but what happened? I was on deck. I'm like, man, I gotta find the barrel. They intentionally walk the hitter that's in the box, right? So bases are loaded. So yeah, bases are loaded. I'm like, man, the whole team like, man, this dude done struck out 3 times today. He ain't nothing. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So my coach is like, hey, come on, let's go.
Oh,
Strike one, strike two. I'm like, bruh, I can't. Ball one, ball so it gets the full count. Full count. I'm like, man, it felt like a slow motion moment. I connect with the baseball, hit a grand slam, right?
what? Whoa, whoa! Say it again.
I hit the baseball, hit a grand slam. Grand slam. So that was crazy, man. I didn't even know I hit it. I just hit the ball. You know when you just like you ain't trying to see the ball, you just you just get the run. You like, man, I killed it. Boom. All right, run it. I get to second base. Everybody's going crazy. I'm like, man, come on, what y'all doing? Game's still going on. I look over. Oh, should I just hit a home run? Okay. My head coach mad at me. I just took my helmet off. He's like, man, put your helmet on. I was like, all right, my bad. Cross home plate.
Oh my
Crazy,
lord,
crazy, crazy moment. That
that
right
is
there
that
was
is a play. That is a play of the moment. That is a play of the game. That makes me laugh.
man. That's probably one of my best high school memories of playing baseball. When it comes to pro ball, this one what happened? I said the worst moment that probably nobody's ever seen. Um, when I was with the Marlins, we were playing in Jacksonville. I came in for relief, and I took 110 off of my ankle.
Whoa!
Um,
Off your ankle.
off my ankle, right? So, but so I made a nice play. So, I think it was like I don't remember the count, but I remember I threw a fastball. He hit it back to me just as hard. Pow! Hit my ankle, bounced off, went near the foul line. I made a great play. Boom, he's out. Right? Out
Wow.
the game. By the time the game was over, got back inside the locker room. My ankle had swollen up to the size of a balloon, and that was probably the craziest thing I ever seen. I've never seen my ankle. I don't like I said, knock on wood. I haven't been a player that's gotten injured or hit or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that was one moment where I don't think I've ever seen a ball. I didn't see the ball hit me. I just heard the bat.
It happened so fast. It just happened.
It happened so fast. So my adrenaline's running, so I don't feel it.
Right. Right.
Right, and it was the last out of the inning. So I'm like, all right, boom, it's over with. By the time I got in that locker room, it was over. That took me about a week to recover from.
Oh man. Oh my lord. Hey, that's a play of the day right there, man. I appreciate it, man. I've got one more question for you, and we're gonna end it out. And This is the post game question. Every game, you know, every coach always has a post game question. We talk to our players, hey, how we did today, how can we improve, what we did wrong, what we did right, da da da. But it's post games here, but this is a little different post game. You only have 30 minutes left, Mackenzie. You got 30 minutes, and you want to speak to someone you've never talked to, a player or a coach that you've never met in your life, and it's only one player you get to talk to. And who would that player be? He can be dead or alive, and why? He could be most influential player that influenced you the most. He can be dead or alive. And what would you say to him? It's called the post game question.
Mm, so there's a book I read, Relentless. It's about Kobe Bryant.
I got it. I got the book too.
So even though people talk about Kobe, like Kobe was the one person where people don't understand. There's a lot of sacrifice. Let's say God rest his soul. There's a lot of sacrifice when it comes to that individual to solely be work each and every day to be the greatest player to ever do it. Right? Anybody can debate. I don't really care to have no debates.
Right.
But he's the one person where if I had 30 minutes left, um, he's the one person I know I would talk to and really trying to say, hey, where's your mind at in these positions, right? What are your tactics? What do you go through, right? That's the one person where, hey, when the game is on the line, he's gonna put, like I said, Black Mamba, right? Oh, it's Kobe and then there's Black Mamba, right? That killer instinct, right? That's the one person reading that book where I'm just like, this man got a light switch. He knows, hey, okay, time to turn it on, like that. That's an ability that everybody can't talk about.
Right.
That's
Right.
an ability that most people can't even understand what that even looks like,
That's right.
right?
Right.
So being able to learn something like that, even when it comes to baseball, right, would be
Man.
vital. So I think if I had 30 minutes, yeah, like I said, I think it'd be Kobe for sure.
Wow. That's because baseball's different.
Yeah,
You know, that's I mean, you're gonna have some.
mindset is not
But
like baseball,
mindset's the same. Mindset's the same.
right?
No matter what it is. You're right. I agree. I touch and agree with you totally because at
Right,
the end of the day, it's all mental. Every game is mental. If your mind is not right, you've already lost. I mean,
right.
because I'm gonna read this to you, and I was reading something that from your Instagram, and you know, I do my research. It says here, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that because I read this, and it kind of reminds me of a scripture, you know, and it talks about faith.
Mm-hmm.
Without faith, you can't receive it because you don't believe it. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's the same thing. Confidence is faith, and with faith is love and grace. And
Right,
you know, you gotta have confidence in something, like you talked about having confidence in God. You know, I believe God, but when I read this, looking at your Instagram, like you got to read beyond the words and think about the words. What's the words really saying? Because a lot of times we say stuff, McKenzie, and we just talking, but you're not thinking. I want you to think. What he just said. He says, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life.
right. That quote resonated with me at a young age. That's a quote by Marcus Garvey. Like I said, that's something that really, if I'm going through something or if I feel like I'm down to myself or something, hey man, like you're gonna defeat yourself in life. Period. Forget baseball if you don't have confidence in what task or what you're trying to do at the current moment, right? So
Right.
like I said, it's tattooed on me. That's something where, hey, okay, man, what's going on, Mackenzie? You know what's going on? I can look down. Okay, hey man, like it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Just have confidence in what you do.
That's right.
Like be confident in the path that you're taking. And another quote, my sister told me, gave me since I was really really young. Hold the vision, trust the process.
That's
Right?
it.
Hold the vision, trust the process. So that's another quote I live by.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that's one of the things where that quote is always going to stick with me because it's it's about life. Period. Hey man, you have confidence in yourself in anything you do. That could be being a father. That could be being a job. That could be doing a business. Being baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in coaching, right?
Right.
Whatever aspect of
Right.
or whatever you're doing at that current moment, man, have confidence in yourself. If you ain't got no confidence, you're already twice defeated.
You're right, man. And I'm going to read this one last thing and close it out. It says, then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that you are heard and you may run with it. So basically, without a vision, you perish. You
Right.
perish. You've already lost. Because if you don't have a vision, you've already lost. I mean, and that's in anything. Like you just said,
Right.
I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, this has been a great man. This has been a great podcast. I mean, you had me rolling. You had me laughing.
It's all good.
You was going on. You were gone. You and you
Yeah.
just took off. I'm like, I know he's a pitcher. This is the way his deliverance is. He's like, I give you a question and you just take off. I say, oh, that's a
Yeah.
curveball right there. But it's been all good, man. It's been a blessing. Like I said, I checked out your Instagram. I want nothing but success. So I pray success for you. And I always say this: God bless and never stress. Because if you got God in your house, why you stressing? God
Mm-mm.
bless and never stress. I know that you said you do some training in Atlanta. If you want to go ahead and give out your information for the people that are listening, so they can come out and contact you.
Yeah, man. Like I said, if you guys want to do some pitching lessons with your boy, I'm real holistic when it comes to pitching. I'm real big on the way your body moves. Right, that's something I had to figure out when I was going through pro ball. So if you're nine, if you're in all the way in pro ball, I'm gonna really get you to understand how to be as athletic and efficient as possible down the mountain, right? Especially me as a big dude, I had to. That was one of the biggest things I had to really focus on. So everything that I've learned that has made me efficient, and everything that's new on social media or anything that's new when it comes to the way guys are supposed to be efficient, when it comes to velocity, body positioning, movement. I try to specialize in that. So, like I said, that's the Instagram handle is high impact pitching. So like I said, if y'all want to go follow that, and if y'all need any help, I'm the man. I'll make it
Okay.
happen.
And also, go ahead and give out your Instagram. Your Instagram. Show.
M underscore Mills 14. That's the IG, man. Y'all
Yeah.
follow back. We'll be good to go.
Man, it's been great, man, having you on the show today, man. I appreciate it. This been a blast, man. I mean, you had me laughing, you had me rolling, and we talked a lot about life skills, basically just life skills, And
Yeah.
I got a closing remark. I want to say this to the listeners. Every time I say this, Mackenzie, I say this at every show. I ask this question: Where are you being led? LED. Where are you being led? Either you're going
Right.
north, south, east, or west. You're going in some direction. Goes back to what
Right.
you just talked about, vision. And people say, "What do you mean by that, Coach Laurie? What do you mean by that, Seville?" Well, the L stands for listen. Listen to everything Mackenzie Mills just told you. A 14-year vet in the minor leagues. He's a real estate agent. He's an entrepreneur. He also plays for Great Britain baseball. I gotta say that because I love it. He's playing for Great Britain baseball. But the thing I want you to understand is listen. The L stands for listen, because faith comes by hearing. You can't hear something if you're talking all the time. You got to close your ears. Close your ears. I mean, open your ears and close your mouth, which leads us to the.
Maturity, like I tell you all the time, like just in life, like maturity and a lot of the things that I've learned have because I have failed at certain things. So success, of course, success to teach you some stuff, but going through that sacrifice, going through some of that failure, man, it toughens that skin, right? It calluses certain things, right? It puts you in a position where sometimes not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's just a situation where you know what, I know not to do that again, or I know how to how can I say? I know what to do in that situation, right? It prepares you,
Correct.
right? So for me personally, a lot of the things have come from sacrifice, failure, and then is ultimately blessed me later on now because it forms my mental and it,
Right.
it helps kids
Maturity as well.
understand like, hey, this is how you should think. If you think like this could potentially be destructive.
Yeah.
And let me show you what's gonna work. If you really say you love this game and you really want to play at the highest level, let me show you what it's really all about before you get surprised. And like I said, that's not always the bad stuff. Hey, work ethic, what you should do, what your mindset should be at these levels, how you should treat your coaches, how you should go about certain things. Like, really give you the detailed stuff. But hey, man, like when it comes to certain things, understand like it's part of it. Like I said, stay prayed up, stay close to God. Understand that you don't have to do this by yourself.
Right.
You got an outlet, right? If you got a support system, if that's God, um, you got tools that you can use to help you along your journey. And as long as you could really understand that, um, you should be okay. And then,
Yeah.
like I said, the rest is just
Up to you.
God's gift, and you staying healthy and playing the game that you say you love. If you just go out there and play, and I know that's so cliche. People say, "Oh man, just go out there and play. Don't worry about it." Dig deeper in what that really looks like.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You gave me another closing. I like that. His brother gave me another closing. I like this. I like this guy. He gave me another closing, which I'm gonna close this thing out. But I like it. Hey, I
Yeah,
like that, bro. If I had you, I'd be dapping you now.
yeah. That's
That's
all good.
good, man. You basically paraphrased on my last two things I'm gonna say. L stands for listen. The E stands for execute. Execute everything he just said. If
Hmm.
you listen, you should be able to execute. As the letter D stands for dominate. You should be able to listen, execute, and dominate. This is Coach Laurie, very own Mackenzie Mills, 18th draft pick, 18th round draft pick, 2004 with the Washington Nationals. Played 14 years. This is episode 46. It's been a blessing. I appreciate it, man. God bless. Never stress. And thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, bro. I'm out.
All right, good
Bye
deal.
bye.